Okay, so let's go ahead and start this off with some things that those of you that are already in my system, you understand it. Those of you that are not, I'm going to go ahead and cover it now in case there's any questions about that. So the first thing, let me see here. I think I need to go to another slide. Okay, so the first thing is the my private real estate investor business real estate and business investors club. This is a private group. We utilize Facebook to communicate, but it's a private club. You'll see different things that'll happen in the future. For example, webinars like this. There's a lot of things that we do with the private club that no one else gets access to. Very soon, I've been starting to say it out there in the social world that I'm going to just get away from communicating with lots of people in the social networks, like, regular communication with Facebook. I have 3 different sites in Facebook and LinkedIn and let's see, Twitter and all those different things. You're not going to see me out there being able to communicate with me directly anymore that way, because we're getting more and more people into my training world, where that's where my passion has always been, is to help others learn how to do this real estate business. So very simple, easy to understand private club. It's $7 a month, and there's the link right there. I think Courtney's going to send everyone the link, and then if you're looking at this as a recording, right now it's live, but if you're looking at this as a recording, then that link is clickable once it's in the recording mode. So you should sign up there every week or so. We're doing a new thing, something new and different that's things that have made me thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, quick little training segments every week or so. And then it's all put into the memory there. It's put into a file. Damn, there's a name for it. I can't think of what the heck it is right now. But it's what is that name, Courtney, where we put it into where they can access old recordings of that?
I'm sorry, of Q&As? Like the
No,
archive?
no, all of the different training, the weekly training. There's we're putting it into
Oh,
a file. What is
yeah,
that
you're
called?
talking about I mean, I just have a page that'll just be where the archived posts are.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Archive. That was what I was looking for. So it's all archived, so that then you can click on the previous ones. You can't see what the new ones are because that's going to be a new thing each and every week. Right now I think we're up to like maybe 49 of them planned, and we've probably done maybe half of those so far. So I try to stay way ahead with new and different things that you'll learn about. And new things happen to me all the time. Latest thing was just, let's see, Friday, a whole new set of things went on with me. So all that kind of stuff, I just put it into those training programs. And what it does is it helps you understand a little bit about one little tiny, minute thing that could be happening to you. But in your world, it's like this major problem. In my world, it's like there's nothing to it, because you just go 1, 2, 3 or ABC and you're done with it. Or you do these things and it causes something else to happen for you. So I'll give you a little teaser. In the private group, the ones that are in this private group, the very next one of these training events that I do, it's going to be, it'll be set up live, and then it'll be recorded. But this one here will be how to do real estate with celebrities. So that's a really cool one. I don't know if anybody knows the stories about one of my students and a castle that we did at one time with a Pulitzer Prize winner and all that kind of stuff. But there's all kinds of stuff. MTV was involved, and all this kind of stuff. But there's all kinds of things that you can do, and it doesn't have to be quite to that extent. But literally, just understanding this one little thing that you could run into or have exposure to or a connection with, that literally will put several thousand or hundreds of thousands of dollars extra in your pocket just by doing a few of these little things to properties that you're already going to be going after anyhow. Okay, so anyway, that's the private club. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on there. All right, Jumpstart Prime Online. We went from doing it in class to doing it online at a self-paced setup where it's all video driven. There's multiple modules. It's more than twice the size it used to be. If you were with me a couple of years ago, the old Jumpstart Online was nowhere near what this one is. So it's very, very informative. It brings you right up to the minute of what I'm doing right now. And then there's Q&As that happen with that. We do that every 1 to say 4 weeks. Just depends on what's going on in my world. Sometimes I can do it every couple of weeks, and sometimes I get behind on the other things that got to get caught up on before I can go back to doing that again. The more time I spend with my students, the less time I'm looking to spend on my own real estate deals so that I can do their deals with them wherever they're at in the nation. So Jumpstart Prime Online, if you're not a Jumpstart student, you can't joint venture with me because I don't want to spend all my time trying to teach you what to do, what not to do, what to look for, what not to look for, and spend all that additional private time with you, which costs you a fortune if you were to do it that way, instead of just taking Jumpstart Prime Online. So Jumpstart Prime Online, there's the link there for that. And then the newest thing that we're doing here, this is coming up in June. The dates are the 19th through the 22nd of June of this year. We're going to be doing our Advanced Real Estate Investing Bootcamp. This is the one that we were going to be doing at St. Thomas, but we're doing it right here in my town in Port Wentworth, which is near Savannah, Georgia. During that time, there'll be 4 days, and I don't know if I'm going to use one of my office complexes or if I'm going to use one of the local hotels' conference rooms. But this advanced boot camp is something that none of you have ever seen before. Not a single person has seen this before. This is going to be extensively how to make serious money from real estate. And it's not just about real estate. Everything that I do is about real estate, and most of the things that I teach you can apply to just about any type of business at all. So you will be learning some techniques that will just absolutely blow your mind. I think I've got if I remember right, about 4 different techniques that are multi-million-dollar techniques that you can take them and run with them, choose one of them that you want to try to go after, maybe joint venture with someone else and let them do the majority of the things that need to be done while you collect a piece of everything that they do. It's up to you how you structure this. But that one there's not a link right this minute. There will be a link probably within the next couple of weeks to click on to understand even more about it. But you can call and sign up through our phone number right there. Okay, so got that out of the way. So let's go into the Q&A and let's see if there's anybody who's brave enough to just ask the first question so that everybody else will start asking questions. So Courtney, do we have anyone?
If you have a question, raise your hand or type them in.
I know that there's some of you here on this webinar that have questions that you said you didn't want to ask during the Q&A. Just ask the question. Other people might have the same question, and we can kill 2 or more birds with 1 stone. So let's go ahead and get going with that. You may have a question about the different events that I just brought up on there. Ask the questions about that. You might have a question about a business you're thinking about starting. It might be a restaurant business or auto repair business or whatever. Whatever the questions are, go ahead and let's get going with them. You might not know how to find buyers, or you might not know what to do when you find a bunch of buyers. You might not know how to find sellers, or what to do when you have too many sellers. You might have questions about, how do I do this business when I have a full-time and then some job? So let's get going with some questions, guys. This is all for you.
Okay. Lee, I'm going to unmute you, so hold on. Okay, Lee, you need to unmute yourself because it won't even let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead, Lee.
Hi, I need sellers, Joe.
Hey Lee, are you on a computer or are you on a cell phone?
I'm on my cell phone.
Cell phone. Okay. Each time there's a little issue that goes on there, and it's always with the cell phone. Do you have an iPhone or you have an Android?
I have an iPhone with a headset.
Okay, I got you. All right. I just like to keep it in the back of my mind when different things I see happen. I remember some things have happened in the past with that. So, all right. So, but you have to ask me a question. I know everybody needs sellers and buyers, even if they have thousands of each. They always need or want more. So, what is the question about it?
That was a very general question. I need more sellers. I put out signs. I
Okay.
take calls on my phone. I need to turn these into viable people to sell to my buyers because I got an
Okay. Okay.
extensive buyer list.
So you said, and on extensive buyer, you got maybe what 500, 1,000 buyers on your list?
500 to 1,000 easily.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the only thing that you told me that you're doing to find sellers is you're putting out signs and then you're taking calls.
Okay.
So
We
what else
have
are you doing?
signs. We're doing the yellow letter campaign sporadically. We're looking
Okay.
for people on Craigslist and even Facebook Live. We're looking. I don't know. I just need ideas where I'll look at. I mean, I know I'm looking in the newspaper. I'm finding them, but I'm not turning them. Obviously,
Okay.
um,
So let's think about
I need
you.
more sellers.
I got you. All right. So let's think about you and what you have going on in your world. So you're a licensed real estate agent, right?
Yeah, but I don't push that. Not in this
I,
business.
I understand. You don't push
Okay.
real estate in the real estate investing business. I got you.
Well,
All right.
I
No,
let Lynette take care of that. I don't want to mix the two because it's a
okay.
little dangerous.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm asking you where you're at, and you have a license, a real estate license. Okay. And
Yes.
then you work in an office with a lot of other real estate agents. Is that right?
Not necessarily. I work in the business marketing of businesses as a broker
Are
for
you are you
businesses, not residential.
right? But
So I stay away from residential.
are you under a brokerage on the real estate side that has a lot of real estate agents?
No,
Okay. So there's no other real estate agents?
there are other brokers in the office, and we are. When you're a broker, you're the agent
Right.
entitled to the
Right.
complete commission.
Right.
Right.
Everyone that's a broker is an agent. So there's agents there, but then are there any agents under any of those brokers that are not brokers, just agents?
You're talking about co-brokers. Yes, there are co-brokers. There are three of us in this particular business. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so are you under in your area, which I'm thinking is Savannah, are you under the Real Estate Commission of Savannah, or do you cover more than just Savannah? What areas?
The multiple listing service of Savannah I do not belong to. I belong to CoStar and any business network. But
Okay.
when you're looking at the MLS, I have to pay for that. And I don't belong to it, and I
All right.
don't even want to belong to it.
And what is the cost for either you or one of the other brokers or one of the other agents under the brokers to belong to that MLS service? What's that cost per year?
Per year?
Hmm.
Well, there's a monthly fee as well as there's a yearly fee, and I
Okay.
don't really know, but it's in the thousands. It's quite expensive.
Okay. Well, that's one deal. That's not very expensive. So
It's one option.
okay. So what I would do if I were you, because you're a little bit different. You've got the real estate brokerage and agent connection. I would be looking for the different MLS um, areas. So one of them is Savannah. I think Richmond Hill has its own. I don't know if it's by, like basically Liberty County or if it's just the city of Richmond Hill. Same thing with, Puller, Bloomingdale, all of them, Effingham. I would be looking for connecting with someone who's already paid the money for that MLS
Yeah.
service, not just one, but try to cover all of them within a 50-mile radius of where you're doing your business at, where your office is. I'm not talking about your office that you go into in Savannah. I'm talking about the one that you have in Effingham. So look at each one of them. If you want to bring them in or on a phone call with me so that we can chat through this so that they can connect with you with the expired listing, that's just one little tiny piece of what you could do with that alone. And if you put some serious effort into just that one thing alone, Lee, you wouldn't be able to handle the sellers that you have with the small buyers list you have. So I'm just telling you, if you just make
All right, well, that's something we need to plan to do, because
right.
I have some people that we've talked about it, but we've never gone all the way through.
Right. So that's just,
and I feel like they're not convinced that I can do it for them, and that I'm competition to them, and I don't want to be that. So
that's fine. But remember, these are the properties that are expired. They weren't able to be sold by a realtor. Okay. So, and then it's a connection between, you're making the connection for Lynette, and Lynette and I would have the conversation with them. Do you understand?
Okay.
So you're the connection that connects them to have the conversation, the meeting with Lynette and I. Okay?
Plus, I could actually pay them something back.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to get something out of it, but it's after the deal. So.
Oh, of course.
The deal's going to pay, a little piece of the deal is going to pay them for what they did for you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So Thanks. That should get you jump started with some sellers if you actually really and truly go through with that. Now, there's lots of people that I tell to do lots of things and I overwhelm them with stuff. So I've only told you to do one thing that connect with every MLS, an agent that's under every MLS.
Every agent that will let me, right.
And agent in every MLS area, controlled area, within a 50-mile radius of your desk. That could mean Hardyville area as well. Okay?
Creative juices are going. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, Courtney, next question.
Okay, if you have a question, just, okay, all right. Caesar, I'm going to unmute you. So, go ahead, Caesar.
Okay, can you hear me?
Caesar, I can hear you well. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I just started your program last week, Jumpstart Prime, and it's moving kind of way too fast for me because I started doing it right away, and now I feel like a little bit overwhelmed with it.
All right, so let me just tell you a couple of things, okay, Caesar? So don't feel overwhelmed. I don't want that, but I just want you to understand something, okay? You only have to move as fast as you want to move. Just remember this. They need you way more than you need them. And when you're ready to take that next step and go a little bit deeper and further, then you do. When you're not ready, you just are collecting information. So my assumption is you're getting a lot of buyers, and now you need to know what to do with them.
Yes, and they call me every day and text me every day if I found anything.
Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is you want them to be connected to your phone system that is not being able to get directly to you every minute of every day. Okay, so you want to have, even if it's like a cell phone, you want to make sure that that's a business cell phone and you're only responding to that during certain hours of the day, during certain times when you're ready to respond back. They go on your list, and then when you start going after sellers, then those are the people that have already given you information about where they want to be, what they want to be in, and what they have to work with down a month and what their total monthly income is. And then you're starting to see what the value is out there of your buyers list. They're telling you what that's the market speaking to you. Now, when there's sellers that start getting in front of you, now you can tell whether it's a deal that you want to mess with or not based on what your buyers have said. So let's just say that you've got people calling and they want to be in the South Guyton area, and they've got $10,000 down and they can afford $1,500 a month, and they've got a $5,000 a month income. All right. So if you have houses then, sellers that start popping up that you can take over, and the houses cost $1,000 a month, and maybe the seller wants $5,000 of moving money, then you know all day long you can make this deal happen. You can make $5,000 off of it and $500 a month off of as many properties as you want to put together and put in front of these people. So it kind of lets you know. But let's look at it from a different perspective. You've got people that'll pay you $1,000 down, $1,000 a month, and your sellers are popping up and they want $5,000 of moving money, and their monthly payments, mortgage payments, are $1,600 a month. Well, you know that that's not a deal that you want to jump into. You could maybe still try to use the house and try to sell it if you can, but you know that you're not going to just jump right in with both feet on that one, because you don't have buyers speaking loud enough to you that it's worth it for you to get involved in that deal. So you know, it might be like pushing a wet rope uphill with your nose. You don't want to do that. So we want it to be easy flowing, especially just getting started. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, it does make sense.
All right, and then now let me just talk about going too fast. I've had people who get started just like you. They'll spend 2 or 3 years and not have a thing happen at all. And then I've had people within the first 4 hours of their training, they're making money off of their deals right then and there. So, and everything in between. The worst thing in the world is for you to learn stuff and not start applying it, because when you start applying it, that's when the good questions come about. Okay. So
yeah, because that's where I'm at right now with. Right. Because I went through the whole course already. I read everything and I saw all the videos.
Sure.
But then now I'm doing the second thing is I'm putting it in practice and then revising again.
That's right.
What I learned.
Yeah, and I'm real happy with it. Right. I'm real happy with your progress. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So now think about it. Let's go into the college world. What college course could you take within 1 week? You have the potential of making some money. Let's just say it's $5 or $10,000 off of it. What college course can you take in the first week of taking that class? You can make $5 or $10,000 off of what has come to you already. You just don't know how to finish that deal yet. So you've only got a week into this. So let's take a college course for 1 semester. You know, let's talk about 8-week or 12-week semester. By the time they're done with those 12 weeks, they still don't know what they're doing. They understand that one subject, but they can't make any money from it. So this is like, holy cow, you know, and this is a whole lot cheaper than that course is. So just be patient. You're doing everything right, and it's flowing right. And now you're starting to realize that the things that you're learning in there really and truly work and will blow up your email and your phone if you just do them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is right now somebody's calling. Hold on. I have to hang up on them. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Because I got the system set up so it forwards to me every time they call my business phone number, so it just goes to myself.
Now what you want to do is you don't want your phone blowing up all day long. It's only been a week, but trust me, after a while, it will drive you insane. You want it to collect the information that they're willing to give, even if it's just their contact information and that's it. And then you want to follow up with that. And so go ahead. You were fixing to ask me a question.
Yes. Well, I have a few since I'm putting everything into practice and I have hit certain obstacles. But the ad, I feel a little bit embarrassed about doing the ad. Because like I told Courtney, I don't have any properties to list to do a coming soon ad.
Okay, so coming soon. Now here, this is a thing that I've been talking to people about this for more than a decade. So your coming soon ad, if you're brand new getting started, you shouldn't feel bad about it. What you should realize is feel bad about the people that you could have helped if you let them know that you're going to be doing this, and you should feel bad by not telling them, because you could probably help some people, especially with you being bilingual. You can probably help some people that no one else can. And so you shouldn't feel bad about that at all. Now, the coming soon, it's all about 2 different types of real estate. The first type is I'll start with the second type first. The second type is I already have this property. The people are about to move out. I know I'm getting this property back, and so I'm going to put a coming soon ad up, letting people know that this property is coming available again. I don't publicize or send people to the house because there's people moving out, but I'm letting them know that this property is becoming available again. So coming soon, and here's this property. All right, I think we got 3 of those right now. Actually, 2 of them just changed over to they're actually available now. They were coming soon. Now they're available. One of them's still a coming soon. But so that's the number 2 coming soon. The first coming soon ad is you have to make this decision, which I know you already did because you bought the course and you started applying it. If you plan on being a real estate investor, you're going to get 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses. And you're going to get them in the area that you live and that you work. There's no doubt about it. They're going to come at you. And they're going to come soon. The sooner, the quicker you work on this, the sooner they'll come. But they are coming soon. But you can't just go out there and take over properties and then decide, okay, now it's time for me to let people know that I have properties on hand, because you're not helping the seller, you're not helping yourself, and it's going to take you a while to find out what the market is going to say about a property like that, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in South Guyton. So you have to do it this way, and you have to. This is a smart way of real estate investing. This is a safe way. This is why this is not a risky type business when you run it this way. When you do it like most of the people teach you out there, and most of the people who have lost their shirts more than a dozen times or even 100 times, when you go out there, you take over property and then you try to figure out how you're going to sell it. That's the recipe for disaster right there. So this is the safest, smartest way. And yes, people want property right now. And I think I'm probably close to 11,000 buyers on my local list right this minute. There's no way that I can come up with 11,000 properties in my local area before they all need to move. So, and some of them obviously wouldn't qualify anyway, but the bottom line is that I can't let that drive my train. I can find out what they're looking for and let them know I'm available and let them follow up with me, and that's fine. But I'm going to let them know as soon as I have properties each time I have them. So you're going to have that. So there's nothing wrong with that. All right. So did we answer a question there, or because you said you were embarrassed, but I don't remember you asking a question.
The reason why I was embarrassed is because I use my own house.
Okay. And are you willing to sell your own house?
If I'm doing the investing, I bought this house as a transition to the house that I really want to build. Okay. I just didn't have the down payment to build the house I wanted.
Okay. All right. So you can use your house if the money's right from the potential buyer out there, then you're willing to move. What would it take for you to be satisfied? How much would you need down for them to move into your house, and how much would you need monthly to make you comfortable moving out of that house?
I need 20%, which would be, well, the house right now is 224, but with all the stuff I did to it, it probably 240.
So you need around $50,000-$60,000 down to make you comfortable moving out. Okay, and then what do you need? And then what do you need to make a month to give you positive cash flow out of that house?
I need at least 1,500-1,600.
Okay. And how many bedrooms is it?
5.
Okay, so the going rate right now, and that's in Effingham?
Yeah, in Guyton, Effingham.
Okay, so the going rate in the fair market rents is over $1,700 a month for a 5-bedroom in Effingham. So that's an easy one all day long, and $50,000 down is not a hard down payment to get. Okay.
The thing is that I already got people asking me, and I'm not really ready to get out of the house either.
Okay, so you have to decide. If they're willing to give you $50,000 right now and pay you $2,500 a month, are you willing to get out right now?
Oh yeah, if they meet my numbers, yeah.
Well, of course. So I mean, that's just like Walmart saying, okay, I got these cheap Stanley tape measures for sale in the hardware section, and so they want, I'm just making up a number, they want $8 a piece for them. And if people are only willing to give them $6, they're not going to sell them, are they? Walmart's not going to say, okay, well, yeah, I'll take $6. All right. So you have to have that number, and we just discussed what that number could be. And so if the buyer pops up with that right number, then obviously you're going to let them have the house. So
okay, should I let them give me their, because I only got the 2 phone numbers. Should I let them fill out my script?
Yeah, and you should always, every time buyers are calling, if you don't have it set up automated wise, that's fine. Someone else in your business could be taking the buyer script or you doing it yourself. But when you're ready, don't just take a call anytime they call you. You call them back. All right, so your voicemail should say that or your email, either way, should be saying that you're looking for their contact information so that then you can contact them back and do a buyer script on them. You don't have the information you need to know without the buyer script. You have to do the buyer script, okay? Because you don't know where they want to live. I mean, we get buyers that call us all the time that want to be in New York. They want to be in Washington State. They want to be in California. I mean, so do you have any properties there in Washington State?
No, I got New York.
But you need to know. But you have to know. And then New York's a big state. We're at New York, and then what do they have to work with? Do they have a job at all? Well, no, they don't have a job. But we're going to relocate up there, and we got some good possibilities. Well, I'm not going to go on that. I need to make sure they've got an income, before I let them move into one of my properties. But do you understand? I mean, so you have to do the script to find out what they have to work with, what they're looking for. We get people to call us all the time that, they can put $500 down and they can afford $250 a month. I mean, I'm not putting them in any of my properties. I think the cheapest property I got is just under $1,000 a month. So, but anyway, so yes, you have to do the script. Okay. All right, okay. So I wanted you to schedule a time for you and your wife to come in to the office so that we could sit and chat about a few more things that I wanted to get you guys going on so that we can get that business up and running solid for you.
Okay, I'll call Courtney today after the Q&A and I'll
schedule time where it's the two of you coming in, okay?
Okay.
All right.
The other thing, I got more questions, but I'll give the chance to somebody else to ask anything. And
okay,
sure. I'll raise my hand again.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Courtney, you have anybody else?
Hold on. Nope. So if you guys want a question, you better raise your hand or Caesar's going to ask some more.
Yeah, Caesar's going to seize the opportunity. Okay, sorry, guys. I just had to do that. I know, Courtney, you're jealous of my sense of humor.
How did you know?
Especially with as bad as you feel right now. Okay, well, Caesar, come on back on and ask some questions. Means everybody else is scared.
All right, go ahead, Caesar. You're unmuted.
Okay, so I have a guy at work that he has a piece of property, 27 acres, and he's willing to let it go for 100, 120, depending how much you can give him down. He has a double wide in the 7 acres, and then the rest is just land. He has a road that goes in it. It has a main road.
Hold on. So how many grand total acres was it? 25, you said?
27.
27. And of that 27, 7 acres has a double wide mobile home on it?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So he's got 20 acres, and then he's got 7 acres, and I'm assuming that's subdivided off with the mobile home on there. All right. And then he has a third property, or is that it? Just the 2 properties?
No, that's it. The 2 properties, the 7 and the 20.
All right. And are those local for you?
Yeah, that's in Pembroke.
Okay. All right. So what we need there is we go back to the script. We need a seller script. Have you done a seller script on him?
No, because since he wants, I know he wants money down.
I understand, but let's do it. But we have to have an understanding of what's going on there. What if he owes $780,000 on the?
He doesn't own anything. He doesn't owe.
Well, that's the idea. Fill out the whole seller script, all the questions that are on there. I could just keep asking you questions over and over again about it. The purpose of the seller script is for us to have a clear understanding of what it is that he's got. Do you know what it's zoned? You understand? Well, there's a lot of agricultural zonings. We have to know which one it is. Is it all the way down to where they can have one house per acre? Has he had any kind of soil analysis done on the property to know how many septic tanks could go on that land? Is there any kind of water and sewer running close by? There's a lot of different things. Do the seller script of the questions that are on there, and then it's time to schedule an appointment for him to come in and you to come in for us to chat about what we can do for him to try to get him what he's looking for so that you can make some money off of it as well. Okay?
Yeah, because when I heard that, it just sounded to me just the same deal you did with your in-laws.
Okay.
So, and it just sounded good. So I haven't talked to him just straight up. It's somebody that told me he is selling.
Yeah, all you're doing is you're interested in doing the script first and then scheduling a time through my staff.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do that. Let me write that down before I forget.
Okay.
Let me move on to another. If somebody has another question, I can.
No, go ahead. Go ahead real quick. Just knock them out real quick.
All right. How do you determine, like, if you buy a house and somebody wants that house from you, if you saw a cheap house like I have right in front of me right here, $69,000, and I go buy it and somebody wants it right away, if it's mine already, I already paid for it, how did you determine the interest rate that you and buyer is, or your buyer, because it's not end buyer, it's between you and him, how did you determine the interest rate that you're going to charge him for?
Are you talking about buying it cash, or are you talking about borrowing the money to buy it?
I will borrow the money financing.
Okay, so the first thing I would need to know is what interest rate I'm financing it at. So let's just make up a number. Let's say I got it at 5.5%. So if I'm going to sell it to them, it could be that I'm going to sell it to them and just take some assignment money out of it and let them take over the debt completely. Then I'm not determining an interest rate. It's already been determined by the existing financing that's on the property. If I want more money above what I've borrowed to buy it and what they've paid me down, then I'm going to put a second note, do a seller carryback second, because I would become the new seller, and it's going to be a little bit higher than what that first interest rate is. So if it was 5.5, I'd be somewhere around 7.5 or 8%. All right, so I went 2.5% above what the current financed rate is on the property. Now, there's a few different rules that you have to kind of watch out for and kind of follow until they go away completely, and that's under the Dodd-Frank rules. So right now, don't worry about getting yourself all wrapped around Dodd-Frank, but the bottom line is we just need to make sure that we're complying with what the federal regulations are, which is under Dodd-Frank, as to what interest rate we can charge. And then we have to take a look at what the situation is. I might need to make the interest rate a lot lower on my seller carryback second because they may not be able to afford more than a few $100s a month for that second that costs me nothing because of the amount of payment that's on the first. So let's say my first is $1,300 a month and I got $150 a month going out in taxes and insurance. So now I'm at $1,450 a month going out on it. And I want to make sure I got at least $300 cash flow, positive cash flow. So I need $1,750, and so I can't tell them I got to have a monthly payment of $2,200 a month for it when they can only afford maybe $1,750. So I have to kind of take a look at the whole thing and figure out what makes the most sense and make it all work for everyone. Okay. So there's a lot of different things that play into that. Each deal. When you have the deal and we're set up and we're trying to structure it, that's the beauty of my mentoring program, where I figure out what makes the most sense for exactly what's happening right at that time. Because there's no one answer for any and every deal. It's a different scenario, different situation each and every time, based on the buyer, based on the seller, based on the credit, based on the value of the property, based on what you could do to improve the property down the road, all kinds of things. Okay?
Okay, the reason why I asked is because this property was sent to me by a buyer that I got the day I put the ad on the website and Craigslist.
Sure.
And she wants that house because she lives close to it and she can actually afford it. But the seller is the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and he wants a lot of different things in there. seems like a complicated deal to actually
And
buy it out.
And sometimes it's not low-hanging fruit, and that's the way it goes. But what it takes is for someone experienced like me to sit down and structure out what we can do for them once I understand what their full situation is and what they're looking for. Then we structure something, let them know this is what we can do for them. And if they want to do it, then they'll do it. If they don't, they want to try something else, they can try it for a while. And if it doesn't work, they never burn the bridge with us. They can always come back to us later, and then we can put something together for them. But there's not any one house deal or any one buyer that makes everything stop and we can only do it this one way. It's never like that. Okay?
Okay, because he has a lot of terms in the listing, so it looks like he's really specific.
Sure, that's fine. It's not something that we haven't come across before. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Is that the
I
end
got
of
more,
questions?
but if somebody else wants the turn.
All right, Courtney, anyone sitting there?
Nope, you're good.
Caesar, they want to ride your coattail, so go ahead, man. This is why you're going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, I just read one of the archives Q&As, and you wanted people to ask questions because nobody will come up. So
That's right.
I wrote a bunch of them.
Well, usually people will sit there and not ask questions until someone else starts asking questions, and then they all have questions. But I can never shake them loose in the beginning until that one brave soul. So it looks like you're going to be the only brave soul today, but that's fine. Go ahead.
I'm cool. I'm hitting all my answers.
Just sit here and ask me question after question as quick as you can.
So how does the down payment growing program and assistance programs really work? Because I'm trying to get the basic of it. But
all right, so you should be. All these questions you're asking are actually in Jumpstart. So you need to do Jumpstart multiple times with no distractions because it's all in there. But here's your answer. So the down payment growth program, if they, I created that so that people could grow their money with us if they're afraid that they could be putting money in a savings account and then they come up with all kinds of reasons why they need to use that money on a new toolbox or a new boat or a Harley or whatever. So when they put it with us, it's still their money. If they ask for it back, they get it back. But they grow it with us. It's just one more step away, and they have to come and ask us for that money back. So they build it, they grow it with you, they put it with you, and you're out looking for a house that fits what they're looking for once you get to the minimum dollar figure that you want it to be before you start hunting for a house for them. So obviously if somebody comes in with $1,000, I'm not going to search for a house for them yet. That's not enough money. I don't do any down payments with that low of a down payment in the down payment growth program. But so they grow it with you until you get satisfied. Then you go out looking for a house that suits what it is they said they wanted. And once you find a house that you think that it's what they said they wanted, you have them go look at it. They got 48 hours to look at it and respond back to you as to whether they do or don't want it. If they do, then that down payment applies towards that house, and they compete with no one else for that house. So it's just them and you. If it's not what they were looking for, then you keep looking for a house for them, and you put that house in front of the rest of your buyers list. Okay, next question.
All right. So how is when you do a lease purchase, how is it the monthly payment of the tenant structure? Like how much goes to you, how much goes to your seller, how much is for interest and principal?
We have to know what the seller's looking for. We have to know what the property costs. All right. So how much does that property cost that we took over? Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, whether it's to a bank or it's to the seller because it might be free and clear. But how much does that property cost us per month? There could be some other expenses like a maintenance fee, a homeowners association fee, maybe an alarm system that's got a contract on it that goes along with that house that's got to be paid every month. What does that house cost total? So let's just say it's $1,200 a month is what that house costs total. So the leasing side of it, my buyer needs to be paying me a minimum of $300 more per month than that number. All right. And that's for somebody just getting started. Now, if you've been doing this rocking and rolling for a while and you've got several properties, then I would say a good minimum is $500 a month. Don't do any for less than $500. But just getting started, $300 is fine. All right. So now where does that go? The let's just say it's a $1,200 a month house payment that I have to cover, and I'm receiving $1,500. So 12 goes on the house payment, the cost of the house, and the other 3 comes into us is our money.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was writing it all down.
So how many $300 a month cash flowing payments to you does it take to replace your current income that you have? How many houses does it take?
Hold on. I only get 4,800 a
Okay.
month.
All right. So let's just say it's 5,000. So if you were doing $500 a month, that's 10 houses. So if you're doing 300, I don't know, 14 houses, 15 houses, somewhere in there. Okay.
That's what the 27-acre project looks like, really promising.
It could be. It could be, but remember, you got to dump money into that if you're looking at subdividing and building on each one and all. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done it a million times. You know, I've gone from residential to commercial and all kinds of things. So I have to look at the whole thing and determine the highest and best use of the property, and also consider what it is the seller is looking to get out of it. So there's a million different ways that could go. All right, next question.
Do you sellers always ask for down payment, or that's something?
No, most of the time they don't. Most of the time they don't.
Even if they got equity on it?
Well, it depends. It depends on what the situation is. Some of them are willing to wait for years. You know, some of them just need that payment off of their back because they got a job in a different state, or they can't afford their house payment anymore, or maybe they're already behind. You know, so it depends. It's different all the time, constantly different. Each individual deal is completely different. Never think they're all the same, because they're not. Okay?
So I also learned the difference between having a mortgage and the subject to and the deed. When you take control of the deed, the house is yours.
Yes. The house is in your name.
But if the person still have a mortgage on it?
Yes, that's a subject to purchase. The debt stays in the seller's name, and the deed transfers into your name or your entity's name.
Okay. And all right, so let's just go to the program, to the mentorship. A couple questions I have. Okay. So I have some funds available at the time, and I'm debating, because that's all my savings there. I can find more, but that's all my savings. I'm debating into getting the mentorship, so I do all this right with you, right? Or collecting money for a down payment for a house to start with something.
Well, it's probably better for us to talk offline on that, because I don't like anybody going deep in the red and in the hole trying to get started. So I don't like that at all. So I want to make sure that we're not doing that. But that's kind of more on your personal finances. So that wouldn't be in the Q&A. You wouldn't want to do that in this Q&A. But we'll sit down and chat about it. And when you and your wife come in, we can talk about that at the same time, and see if we can't do something that makes sense for you and get you up and running as fast as possible.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay. Caesar, for us, it's not about sucking money out of people. We don't like that at all. We're interested in improving in your business and your understanding, and getting you to be extremely happy with what you did with us, so that when we see you out at the movie theater or in the mall or wherever, we don't want to feel like we have to duck and hide or anything like that. We're just not that kind of people. So we're interested in your success, and that's what we really, really enjoy. Obviously, the more successful I make you, the better it is for me, bringing in more students because of the testimonials and the deals that we do together. We can joint venture on as well. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. Courtney, are there any other questions out there?
No, I do not have any more.
That blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. So, all right, Caesar, was that your last question?
I got more if you want to kill 10 more minutes.
Go ahead, man. Hit them. Go fast. Go through them fast.
All right. So when you say, I saw a video where you have a seller and a buyer that couldn't come to an agreement, and you were about to step out of the deal and let them figure it out. Mm-hmm. What's in it for you after they go on their own?
Okay, so the first thing is, when I connect a buyer and a seller together, I get an assignment fee out of that. Then down the road, if something goes wrong where the seller wants the property back, the buyer moves out, whatever the case might be, then a lot of times the seller will come back to me to put another buy-in there, and then lo and behold, I get another assignment fee out of that if they don't want me to manage it for them. If they want me to stay in the deal with them, then I'm looking for my cash flow out of it, and I'm keeping, the down payment. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So
yeah, it does make sense.
But there's times where they would want to just handle it on their own, or it doesn't make enough cash flow for me to stay in the deal. The house can't afford me to stay in it. So then I just set it up where I might make only $5 or $10 grand off of it, and that's okay. I spent $10 on it, so I'm okay with that investment.
And you let them know that ahead of time that this is what you service is a cost, right? So they don't come and say,
well,
it's not ahead directly.
It's not ahead of time. It depends on the scenario. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to fall in love with it and actually really and truly step up to the plate and write the check. So they might be writing a check, and they might be tremendous cash flow in there, so it's worth it for me to stay in it. So I'm not going to tell them up front that, okay, I'm just assigning this to them when somebody pops up, because I don't know. It's when I can't find the cash flow and that kind of person that then I'm assigning it, and then I contact them back and say, here's what we can do. Are you interested in doing this? And most of the time they are, but every once in a while they're, no, I'd rather it just be through you. So let's wait until we get a buyer that's got, more money per month. So it's just a thing that each scenario is a little bit different each time. So it's not the same for every person in every situation. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The other one, I know you answered this in the Q&A in the most frequent asked questions section of the program, but I want you to expand a little bit on it. When a buyer has unrealistic expectations of what they can afford, I know I don't want to turn them down, but what do I tell them?
Oh, you mean you said unrealistic expectations, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like they make $1,500 a month and they think they can afford a $1,200 a month payment?
Yeah, kind of like that.
All right, so here, that's totally unrealistic. But they might have $35,000 to put down. So there's a lot of people that would go down that road with them, take the $35,000, and then when they can't afford the monthly payment, then they take the house back. You're not going to get me to do anything like that. I'm not interested in that kind of situation. Now, they may have gotten into one of my deals and then they lost their jobs or whatever, and so who could see that coming? Nobody can predict that. But they step up to the plate with us. They got a $1,500 a month income. They say they can afford $1,200 a month, and they've got whatever down. So then that's the time where I sit down and chat with them, and a lot of times it's over the phone instead of making an in-house meeting, to find out, do they have a $1,500 a month income, or do they only have a $1,500 a month income that they report? And so they look at us sometimes as a bank, and they know that only $1,500 of their income is a reportable income, and it's willing to be, it's an income that the bank can count, but they might make another $2,000 a month from doing making Afghans at the flea market, or selling AKC registered dogs or something, and they don't ever report that on their taxes. Now, I'm not the tax police. The bottom line is they're supposed to report it, but they have the income there to handle a $1,200 a month payment, because they don't make $1,500 a month. They make $3,500 a month, but they can only report $1,500 of it. So a lot of times we find that sometimes they have $1,500 a month income with a $1,200 a month payment, but she or he has 3 kids that they collect child support on for the next 15 years at $1,500 a month in interest that. So they don't have a $1,500 a month income. They got a $3,000. They didn't think they could count that. So, he or she could be a shade tree mechanic where they make $1,000 every weekend working on cars on the side, in addition to their business. There's a million things that pop out when we have those meetings, but when they really do only make $1,500 a month and that's it, that's all they make, then I'm not going to let them go into a $1,200 a month payment. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
And that's how I handle that. Okay.
All
All
right,
right,
to
next question.
piggyback on top of that, they paying rent, right? They paying rent every month. Does any of that money go towards the purchase price that you and the end buyer agreed on?
What you need to do is go back into Jumpstart and then look at the contract, the lease purchase agreement, okay? And look at the last page, and you'll see about 2/3 of the way down the page, you'll see on there where it says anything above this, and it's a blank because it gets filled in, this amount applies towards your down payment. So let's say they got $5,000 that they're putting down initially, and let's say that particular house, I need $25,000 down before I convert the deed. So anything above that monthly payment that they've written in there, that we've written in there, and let's say it was $1,200, so anything above $1,200 a month goes towards their down payment. So if they bring in $1,500 a month, $300 of it goes towards that down payment, growing their down payment to buy that house from us to transfer that deed. So, but I don't just regular rent. I'm trying to encourage them to become a buyer instead of just a renter, because they will just move in and rent and not ever buy, and that's not in their best interest. And I'm trying to encourage them too. But if I can't make them do it, but it's just an extra little encouragement. I explained to them about the tax advantages of owning versus renting, and as soon as that deed transfers, they get to take advantage of the tax write-off, as long as it's still in existence when they're buying. Right now it kind of looks like that's going to stay in existence for a while, but who knows what the tax plan will be for next year.
Yeah,
all right,
correct.
next question.
All right, since I still have my full job, should I use like yellow letters and buy a list to market to sellers when I get my big buyers list? Well, because I don't have that much time.
Right. Well, let's have that private sit-down meeting first before you go investing money into something like that. Let's just have that sit-down meeting first on it. Okay.
Okay. The last question is: you mentioned something about the app, but you said that it didn't work out for you. How is it beneficial?
Oh no, the app works fine. I just didn't follow through and put people in place to just keep that going. It wasn't worth it. You see, I'm not like most people that are trying to do real estate investing. I've been doing this for so long. I don't need an app. I don't need to do text messaging. I don't need any of that. I have my phone and my email blows up anytime I want to just do a couple little things, because I've established myself so well for so long. That's what I try to get everyone to do, is establish themselves, become that local hero, so that everybody drives traffic to you, and you won't need any of that eventually. That's stuff to get going with in the beginning. And to communicate with your buyers list right away, instead of it being an email and they may not even look at their email. And see, things are changing, because it's almost like a text message and an email message is almost the same thing nowadays, because everybody's doing it on their phone, so it's almost instantly coming to them. But still, there's an argument that says that a text message gets to 90% of the people, it gets read, whereas the email is a whole lot lower percentage. But it's almost to the point where people are looking at all their emails and all their texts all at the same time. But a text message is easier for people to look at than an email is. So the app is not as important as having the text messaging set up on each buyer and each seller that communicate with you, asking for their cell phone number and asking if it's okay for you to text messages back to them. And it's not as many for the seller as it is for the buyer. So the buyers is where you would send your messages back through in text form and in email form instead of just an email form. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, that was your last question. All right, Courtney, is there anyone left there that wants to ask a question?
Nope, just raise your hand or type it in.
All right, guys, so just a reminder, the Advanced Real Estate Bootcamp, keep your eyes open for a webinar coming out to describe that in a lot more detail, and that's coming up in June. You won't learn those techniques anywhere else that I know of. There's so many things that is going to be coming at you in that one. Joining our membership, our private membership group, and then signing up for Jumpstart Prime online. I can't tell you how easy it is to do this stuff. I'm not guaranteeing that you can make any kind of a success at all. Only the person staring at you in the mirror will be able to answer that question. But if you just follow the things that I do, I can't understand why you couldn't possibly do a few deals that makes it well worth it for you to get into this world. Okay, if there's no other questions, Courtney, I guess we'll go going once, going twice. All right, go on, guys. Talk to you later now. Bye.